give up on the calories. Give up, you know. There's really no words. You can't just go to Monday morning a class without just stopping and thinking about the destruction, the evil that is happening. And so, even without knowing that this is the topic, I decided to bring two topics that have been constantly questioned during the conversation about the stranger, and to try to go a little bit deeper into those two topics. So one topic was evil, and we had questions, and the other topic is a Messiah. Those are really two issues that when it comes to examining our faith, those are issues that we need to find some kind of response. I don't know if at the end of this session we'll have all the answers that we always looked for on those topics. It is possible the material here will bring a lot more questions. This is what search for faith is all about. I have never seen anyone satisfied with their faith. We always have questions, probing, not understanding, trying to figure out what's going on. But let me do the introduction. So you will see in both of those articles why it's so dangerous to ask a Jew, what does Judaism says about this? Because my answer to you will be, when? What period of time? I mentioned to you that the only dogma in Judaism that we have is that we don't have a dogma, which makes everything more challenging. But I think this also allows us to probe deeper into the issue of evil. Because in different periods of time, if someone just reads the Bible and tries to find answers about evil in the Bible alone, this will not suffice. What do you mean Bible? Happened a long time ago. Why would I take the word of the Bible as a lasting word of defining issues of evil without taking into account the rest of the 4,000 years of Jewish existence? I always envy those faith and religions that gave you an answer, and this answer was forever. What? What do you mean forever? We change, each of us. The people of the Bible are not our people, are not us. We need to pay attention. We need to take it into consideration. But we better find out also what happened during the Inquisition. And I cannot give answer about evil without taking into account the Holocaust. How do you jump from Bible to the Holocaust? What happened in between? The same is true with Messiah, the concept of Messiah. There are definitely references in the Bible about Jewish Messiah. Well, you know that. You must know that. Because the New Testament, in a way, is a continuation of some of the paragraphs and the information and the ideology and the theology about Messiah. Without the book of Isaiah, what do you have? Thank God we gave you the book of Isaiah. Because many of the references to the way you understand Messiah are coming from that book. When I read Isaiah, I want to ask forgiveness. When I read Isaiah, I don't see your Messiah at all. I read it with Jewish glasses, with Jewish eyes. We all read texts differently, which makes it really exciting to talk about this. We are reading the same chapter in Isaiah, but we are driving different lessons. So I want to make sure you understand that what you will hear and read in this text are the developments of both of those ideas. What happened to the evil in the Bible that became an evil of what happened this weekend? Because that's also an exhibit of evil. How do you explain that? And we need to deal with this because we're human beings with ability to think and reflect. But I want to share with you the fact that we don't have always to have all the answers to every challenge. We can try to probe. We can talk to someone else and see where they stand with all this. But definite answers, those you can get only on Sunday morning televangelists. You're not going to get it from me. And I also feel, and this is one of the reasons why the unity with Countryside was easy than other faith communities. I don't know if you know the story, but we went first to the Catholics. Oh my God, what a mistake. So before the Episcopalians, there were the Catholics. And then we thought about other streams of Christianity, and Episcopalians were interesting faith to communicate with. There wasn't a lot of sadness on my part about not having the Episcopalians. And then we came here. Or you guys came to us. And we started a conversation, and it suddenly felt comfortable. I basically think that all of you are similar, parallel to all my people. They're still my people. They still call me. I wish they didn't. Some of the calls are very sad because it involves funerals. Some of them are happy. I told you I made a mistake when I was teaching for so many years there, the high school kids. I made a mistake and I fell in love with those kids. And I said to those kids as a joke, when you get married, call me. Oh my God, they're calling me. It was just a joke. I didn't mean it at all. So last week I had a wedding, and next week I have a wedding, and so I'm busy with weddings, which is better than funerals. Yes?
Do you remember why you started with the Catholic Church?
Because that's what you do in this town. In this town, you go to the Catholics first. Because they are what, 60% of the Christians in this town are Catholics? They claim it's 60. I don't buy that.
Maybe 40.
Maybe less. But it's okay, you have to respect them. And also because I had a relationship with the Archbishop, and I went there. It took a very short time to discover that there's nothing in common. They were not interested. And when they heard that we are also talking to the Muslims, that definitely was the end of the conversation. But they have some activities with Muslims. So this was 12 years ago, 13 years ago. It was a different world. Was it? It's an interesting, yes?
When you said you have no dogma, does that include the Orthodox Jews or all Jews?
That's a very good question. The only dogma, I think they also don't have a dogma. What they have is the deep belief that the Torah was a book that was, or revelation that came from God. So that's maybe a dogma. But we too, there are Reformed Jews that also have no problem in talking about revelation as a gift from God. So what they have is, of course, hopefully they all do it, the 613 commandments that they need to obey. And I'll mention to you that from the 613 commandments, which is a lot more than 10, remember? 250 you cannot do anymore because you don't have a temple in Jerusalem. So 250 commandments are dealing with kings, temple in Jerusalem, and things that don't exist anymore. So they too have some kind of relief from not being called upon to fulfill all of those commandments. I'm sure they breathe easier as not having to do it. Although there are some Orthodox Jews, extreme vigilant Orthodox Jews, that are planning to build a third temple, which of course will create the worst possible World War III. That's why it's not happening. I think deep inside when they go to sleep, they know what their steps can lead to. But it's a possibility that they entertain. They entertain to the point that if you go to Jerusalem, and I hope Eric in his trip will be able to see it, there's a museum of all the accoutrements that are going to be put in the next temple. So you go to the museum and you see all of the things you saw in Raiders and the Lost Ark. So if you saw the movie, you'll see some of the furnitures that have been in the temple, in the old temple in Jerusalem. And it is possible some of those furnitures are still hidden in some of the caves where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's a fascinating world. And so Spielberg can do many more movies as a result of the possibility. So there is a belief in God, but I have to tell you, there are some Jews that don't believe in God, and they are part of our community. Is the belief in God the most essential thing in Judaism, or doing kind things to other people is more important? Good morning. There is an article on the table there. Okay, so let's start. Yeah, those of you who don't have the article, go get it. I need a very good reader, and I hope he is raising his hand in this moment. Thank you. So this is about Jewish beliefs about evil. By the way, beliefs, plural. There is no one Jewish belief in evil or explaining evil. Is that okay with you? You have to get used to the plural in Judaism. Plural. So let's start, please.
Jewish faith in all historical periods has generally focused on practical notions of what God wants us to do, rather than on theoretical ideals of understanding God.
Yeah, I mean, what is the point in spending so much time to try to understand God? What is the Jewish interest about the conversation about God? What do we worry about? Uh-oh.
God wants us to behave.
Yeah, but what is required of us? It's the one sentence, very short sentence in the book of Micah. I'm sure you know it by heart. Come on. What is God require of us? Just to do what? Justice.
Kindness.
What? Kindness. Mercy is good. It's not there, but it's good. You see? It's not. Humility.
And to walk humbly with
Walk humbly with God. What is the, I mean, this is exactly what we need to be busy with. What is walk humbly with God? How does one walks with God? What a powerful sentence. The rest of our life we need to spend figuring out the answer. So what is walking humbly with God? Well, I think the less we talk about God, the better. That's humbling. God knows who God is. She's so active in our lives. Yes.
I'm going to give what I think, in my mind anyway, is a modern concept.
We're not there yet.
But it might be, I don't know, it might be prior to my, long before my period, I'm sure. But anyway, if I use the example for a moment, I've been kind of wrestling with this for many years. There was a time when we only had the telegraph to bring us communication with another person. And that was a inanimate object. It was not alive, but it allowed us to communicate with others. Now we have compounded that 1,000-fold with our technology. But at the same time, it's an inanimate object as well. So the computer is not alive. It's dead. So we have to understand we're always then isolated from another living being. And that's terribly, terribly alarming and terribly, terribly frightening and terribly, terribly aloning. So then we have to try to understand the issue of subject and object. We are subjects. We say the subject under study. Now, one of those subjects is still alive that we're dealing with now. He's in jail. And he's even, I understand, a good witness. He's sharing what he's led up to. That's his subjective. That's his thoughts and his beliefs. Now, those thoughts and his beliefs we have to try to understand. We won't truly understand them, probably because we don't have quite that degree of anger and hostility. And that's what he has to have. My son was talking to me last night. We're 700 miles apart, but he was saying, Dad, I read it, and it just made me cringe, and then he went into lots of vulgarity. And I said to him, I said, Craig, that won't help. What we have to try to do is understand his feelings. We've become a world of objectivity, not a world of subjectivity. We've become a world of not relying upon one another, not relying upon the other life in the world. And that's what's so frightening, and that's why he was so alienated. He's not connected. That's the horror. That's my view. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think that the Tri-Faith Initiative is in a way when it will be completely, it will never be complete. But at least at this moment, it offered an escape from the loneliness you're talking about. I think this ability to sit in this church and to receive the gift of being able to teach, that makes us closer to each other. And I think I actually have a dream of taking every golf course in the country and turning it into a Tri-Faith initiative. Who needs golf courses? It's a waste. Okay, we'll have one left for you. One. I think all of us feel this kind of aloneness. in different times of our lives. Some of us maybe feel it longer than other people. And hopefully we'll find vehicles of caring and intimacy between us to be able to overcome that aloneness. Okay, so are we all, do we know what God wants from us? So we talked about humbleness. What else? Caring. What else God wants from us? Without justice, without talking about God. Those are the gifts that hopefully we can offer. How are we doing, by the way? Lousy. We're so far away from accomplishing. Maybe we can do it on a singular approach, but when it comes to group and multitude of people, I think we are the same people that are ready to leave Egypt. Sometimes in our behavior, in our lack of understanding of what God requires of us. I think God definitely did not enjoy the weekend. How do I know? What do you mean? If God is all the time with you, of course you know how God feels. I can hear it. He or she used a lot of vulgarity to describe what happened in El Paso, in Dayton. What else God can tell us? What else we know about God? What else? Justice, mercy, kindness. What else? Love. Come on. What? Forgiveness? Beautiful.
Understanding.
And God is evolution to me.
Why do you do a feast instead of opening the hand and offer the gift? You don't go like this, you go like this. Have you seen, by the way, Muslims, how Muslims pray? Go to the mosque. You're all welcome. And their prayers are with open hands, willing and needing to receive God's gift. That's how we should talk to God. Maybe we should not talk this way, it's closed. Maybe we should open the hands and allow for those gifts to be poured into our hands. Are we okay? I'm sure you have other answers of what God is. Let's continue with this beautiful reading.
Thus, there are considerably more Jewish books on creating proper communities, decent human relations, and ritual than on theodicy, explaining why a good God tolerates evil. Yet, through the centuries, reasonably clear if diverse patterns of Jewish beliefs on the evil have been identified.
Yeah, so really, we don't have a lot of books about evil. What's the point in writing books when you experience with your history evil? Why would a Jew write a book about evil? But there are a few books. But really, if you look at my library, this happened also to mysticism. Mysticism, on the other hand, 30 years ago, in my library, there was one book written by a writer about Jewish mysticism. Now, oh my God, it's shelves and shelves and shelves. I mean, there are books about what a person thinks about when they fall asleep. Mystic. Okay. Evil, not a lot of books about evil. And so let's continue.
In the Hebrew Bible,
So now here comes the way a Jewish answer has to come. You start where? In the Bible, in the Jewish Bible. Let's see what's in the Bible there about evil. Go on.
in the Hebrew Bible, the story of creation presents a framework for all that follows. The Genesis narrative emphasizes that God's creation was good, indeed very good, which makes the subsequent introduction of evil, the anti-good, a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned to you that all weddings in Israel are on Tuesday. Why? Why all Jewish weddings in Israel are on Tuesday? That's the only day that get double good. That's why look at the story of Genesis. Go to the third day. On the third day, there are two places where God says, very good. You know what? Wow, that's a good day to get married. On Tuesday. In the middle of the week, you gather thousands of people to come to a wedding. Ridiculous. Use the weekend. Oh, but you can't do you can't do on Saturday. Shabbat, so you have restrictions. Continue.
This account is not concerned with natural evils like cancer or tsunamis, but with people's misuse of their freedom. God responds to both human righteousness and sin with a divine system of justice, rewarding goodness and punishing bad human behavior.
Yeah, so don't look for tsunamis, explanation about tsunamis or cancer. It's there. We know what it is. Do we need to blame God for creating cancer? I mean, we can blame God for so many things. Cancer is not one of them. Maybe more money. Instead of 740 billion for ammunition and tanks and ballistic missiles, what about taking some of the $740 billion and divert it to find answers for pancreatic cancer? What are you fighting? What wars do you need to prepare yourself for? Continue.
A secondary strand of the Bible's basic understanding of evil treats it as God's pedagogy. God respects human freedom, but at the same time teaches people how to do the good.
Yeah, I mean, oh, what a gift to receive individual freedom. Oh, yeah, but it comes with consequences. A law, that's the story of creation. Do you want freedom? Okay, have it. But you're going to watch the serpent. You have to watch the serpent if you want personal freedom. Because the serpent is always there in some kind of a disguise. Just make sure that you're good, which doesn't always help. Sometimes the wrong people, the good people, how come bad things happen to good people? I hope you read a book. It was a wonderful book about personal journey of the rabbi with the health of his son.
But I want to say that as I read that, I was blowing it off, thinking it wasn't important because I thought it was why bad things happen, and it's not why, it's when.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not an explanation about why things happen. It says they're inevitable and how do you respond to it.
Absolutely.
That's a completely different question.
Yeah, the question is not why me, the question is why not me? People are constantly asking why me, why is it happening to me? What kind of life they have? Why not? Why not to every one of us? God forbid. I always like to add the word God forbid and then spit 3 times into the ground. You know, we are so primitive sometimes, you know. Like this helps. But, you know, we are used to be with this. It's like, it gives us some comfort. Knocking on the wood. God forbid it should be plastic. What is this noise?
I think he has something to say.
This is amazing. I was not planning any kind of movie about evil. You have those scenarios in your head. It's okay.
Oh, they're checking cameras and stuff upstairs.
I see. It's coming down there. It's coming down.
what you're seeing behind you is the sanctuary. See, they're checking the cameras.
What a wonderful background to what we are talking about. It's a miraculous place. Let's continue.
Other biblical writers declare that since God micromanages the universe, natural evils are God's doing as well.
Okay, so good and evil, yeah, that's my philosophy. Good and evil comes from the same source. I don't need to have an anti-God to be the representative of the evil. If I believe in God, and I do believe in God, both good and evil come from the same source. Why do I need to create Satan? Because I want to keep God completely white and clean and cleansed? I don't have any difficulty of assigning both the good and the evil to the same source. That's why I talk to God all the time. It's like Fiddler on the Roof. You go to the roof and you talk to God. It's closer. Except if it's shingles. You have to be careful. But we are training people to be able to talk to God. You're not happy about something? I have to tell you, the best place to scream in Omaha is before you get to 90 and Dodge. You know how you get stuck there? It doesn't matter with the bridge, doesn't matter. So what I do in that moment, I just left, for example, the 7th floor in one of the hospitals, and I witnessed the possible death of a young child. I open my windows, thank God they're electronic, I don't have to do this, and scream. Just yell. Shit! Why not? What does God need at that moment to receive accolades and how great you are? Praise are you? Of course. But I just witnessed something and there is no solution and I don't know what to do about this. Screaming is good. Try this next time. Again, before you get to 90. It's a special place there. The place for screaming. Because I don't have the Western Wall to do it. It's all the way in the Holy Land. So that's a good place to scream. Anyone has other places that can they all be offered now? Where's another place to scream? You guys have never screamed? What's wrong with you? Yes?
I used to work for Child Protective Services.
Oh.
And I would get in the car and because I didn't want to carry it home, I would scream all
Yeah.
the way home.
That's
It
a...
helped.
Oh, of course it helps. What else helps in those moments when we see all this evil in front of us? When we witness Child Protective Service? What else? What are other places that you need to scream after you leave them? Hospitals? The morgue?
The news.
What? Prison?
The news.
The news. Oh my God. Yeah, so you can do it at home. Don't close the windows. Let God hear it. Don't shut the windows and scream in a quiet surroundings. Open the windows. You remember that movie? I Can't Take It Anymore. Remember that movie with, what was the name of the movie? Network. Excellent. That's where I got the idea to scream. Because everyone goes to the window and screams. It's a great movie. Get it. Watch it. Network. Oh, beautiful. Both things went up. You guys are safe now. There's nothing above your head.
Okay, I'm confused.
Wonderful.
So,
That's the purpose of this class. Totally.
so that child who was lying there dying, that was God's will?
I don't believe in a God that is so cruel to create those kind of things. I think it can be hereditary, it can be genetic, it can be the mistake of the doctor. I mean, it can be all kind of things. Why would I assign this to the cruelty on the part of God?
Okay, then I misunderstood.
No, but I'm suggesting that for me it's easier to deal with evil when I also can assign evil to the same source of goodness that keep an eye on me and helps me, to God. So I don't need another player on the stage.
I guess the way I've always thought of it is that God has given us free will, and sometimes we botch it, whether we've messed up our environment or whatever it is. And out of that comes a lot of really bad things.
Well, hopefully, I hope not. I hope not a lot of bad things. But you need to have also the optimism. You need to be able to see all the good stuff. Sometimes I think we see only the bad without acknowledging and pointing out the good. And we need to point this out because there's a lot of good stuff happening to us. Maybe at this moment, some of the bad stuff sits in the White House. I'm just saying that. Not caring what you guys want to do with it. Okay.
Could I ask about micromanaging? It says God.
There are some people that look at their relationship to God as a micromanager.
Of the universe?
Oh yeah, totally. That nothing happened. Oh, you have to go to some of the more fundamental expressions of Christianity. They assign, God is like walking with a chart, with and marks. Yeah, there are people that have such a faith that that's how they think their life is run. And there are some people that feel another faith that exists, which is that God maybe was there in the beginning and then let us do whatever we want, and there's no God. I mean, sometimes there's such a chaos around us. Where is the management? How come the management doesn't appear? Micromanaging, that everything that I do is being watched. The puppeteer, looking at God as a puppeteer who constantly moves us. There is this kind of belief and faith.
In Judaism?
No, not in Judaism.
Okay, well, it says other biblical writers, so we've left the Hebrew Bible then.
Yeah, we are moving. We're moving. He's now ready to move. And so it is possible that there was a time when Jewish belief was that God is conducting and moving everything in our lives. And there is a personal attachment to everyone. Providence, personal providence. Is it possible that some of us feel this way about their relationship with God? But God is watching us all the time, and watching, it's okay. Intervening? I mean, why would I accept God, believe in God, as someone who at any moment can suspend gravity? How can I live in a world that God has such power? How can I rely on anything if I think that God is the one that at any moment can... That's why they have spaceships. We are so amazed when we see those, and every one of us wants to be in that kind of a state of existence, maybe for 2 minutes. Living this way, with no gravity. So there are things that were created, and there is the idea that there is an evening and there is a morning one day. Wow. Aren't you excited about the fact that at the end of your sleep, there'll be a day, there'll be some light? We need to accept this as something normal that is happening. But in any moment, if God can change God, the Jewish God, similar to the Christian God, is not capricious. The gods of the Greeks were capricious. How in the Greek story of the flood, what was the reason for the flood in the Greek story? They have it too. The flood was not invented by the Jewish Bible. They knew the story of the flood. But what is the reaction? Why the flood in the Greek mythology happened? Punishment for what?
Were humans too noisy?
Too noisy. Those gods were sleeping in the Olympus, and suddenly there was noise. Are you kidding? Are you daring to wake up the gods? Bam! Flood came. The Jewish God is not capricious. God doesn't behave this way. Okay, let's continue with the next point. So he's going to summarize now the biblical understanding of evil. Go on.
There are three biblical points of view that counter this God-driven theory of evil.
Okay, 3, not 1, 3. That's always what you find in Judaism. 4 answers for 1 question. On Passover, we sit around the Passover Seder, and we ask questions. How is this night different from all other nights? Like you don't know? It's Passover. Let me give you some other answers, so you understand the depth of the holiday. So let's start. The first one.
First, the book of Psalms in particular is filled with complaints by people who cry against God's system of justice.
Yeah, non-stop crying. That's how we love the Psalms, and we create music to them. It's about people that kvetch, complain about everything, complain about the justice of God. That's what the Psalms are about. God.
They say that it doesn't operate in a timely fashion, and thus is guilty of creating evil itself.
Yeah, so God doesn't really have any answers, but there is a lot of challenges in what's happening in our lives, and we assign this to the mismanagement of the world. Go on.
Second, when Job charges that the system doesn't work at all,
You remember the book of Job? That's the book that was written because when bad things happen that's similar to the book. Go on, so what happens?
God, in effect, responds by saying, "You couldn't understand it even if I tried to explain it to you," which becomes the classic Jewish explanation of evil.
Don't ask! Are you crazy? How am I going to explain to you how am I running the world? What am I doing here? Get over it. Don't ask. By the way, what happens when we constantly talk about this stuff? What answers we glean? Anything? So that's the Job answer. And by the way, he sends him friends, and the friends are trying to convince him that it's because of his action. No, he didn't do anything bad. At the end, he's rewarded with everything that he lost, which is a fairy tale. It doesn't happen. But the book is there. Some of the books in the Bible, especially in the wisdom literature, are there to create a dialogue, to create some kind of a deeper understanding. That's why they're called wisdom literature. The book of Job is there with a framework that really is bizarre. What's the framework of the book of Job? Who remembers? What happens in chapter 1 and 2 in the book of Job? Go back to your Bibles. Yeah,
I can tell you.
please.
God and Satan had this conversation to see if Job would be nearly as loyal to God if everything was stripped from him.
Yeah. Satan appears for the first time in the Jewish Bible because he is needed. He is needed in order to teach a lesson. So if Satan appears in the Bible or angels appear in the Bible, all of them are vehicles to teach other lessons. They don't really exist. Jews don't pray for angels. And it's okay that other people pray for angels. That's fine with us. Just leave us alone. Don't tell us to believe in angels. Because the angels, we see the angels similar to people as messengers. Angels are there to bring us some concept that we did not understand before. Okay, go on.
The third motif, rarely mentioned in the Bible, but featured in medieval Jewish mysticism, is the snake that tempted Eve. That is, an evil force was built into creation itself. But if creation was so good, why is this tempter needed?
Yeah. So here you'll see how we move from the Bible to a new concept in rabbinic literature, which is called evil and good inclination. We didn't have it in the Bible. But the belief in medieval and rabbinic period was that inside of us, we have both of those inclinations. We need to tame, of course, the evil inclination, but it's there. You'll never be able to destroy it. There's a story in the Talmud about the rabbis who decided one day to capture the evil inclination because they didn't like that there is an evil inclination. So they couldn't completely capture him, but they blinded him. So he had only one eye. So he will have less chance to do what? To do evil. Guess what happened? They released him after a few days because no chicken laid an egg. No one fell in love. The world was too good. In a way, we need some of the evil inclination there to create capitalism. If there was no evil inclination, why would we have capitalism? I'm just joking. But I'm not really. There is a need, and all of us have it, by the way. I'm sorry. All of us have a little bit of evil inclination inside of us. Hopefully our training will help us to make it small, make it weak, make sure that it doesn't appear all the time. But we have it. I'm sorry. Did I ruin your life today? That in a way, I didn't call you evil. I'm just calling the power inside evil inclination. So you see why I cannot give you an answer. What Judaism says about evil depends when. The Bible says one thing, Rabbinic Judaism says something else, and we are still continuing to read other periods. Yes?
And that is why when Rabbi and I were having coffee and asking the students if they've studied the word dialectic. Dialectic is Aristotelian, going back to at least Greek times, but I'm sure the Jewish times, in many respects as well. The dialectic means thesis, a statement, antithesis, a counterstatement, and synthesis, a beginning of evaluating both the good and the evil, and then all of a sudden you come back to thesis and antithesis and synthesis again. And we're constantly in this revolving and evolving of that dialectic in our thinking.
Absolutely. Yes?
Isn't it just kind of simply, the world is made up of positive and negative. And it's how we respond
Okay.
to what's going on.
Yeah. You can use similar words, similar different terms to describe exactly the same. But this we are constantly creating ourselves. Just because we are 40, 30, whatever, age doesn't mean anything in the vast universe that God created for us. It's what we do. Again, back to the dash. How is the dash developed? The dash is developed by those 3 stages of constantly doing this, thinking about this. What choice do we have? Yes?
Is there another way? I mean, this is dualism from the another way in the world.
Of explaining evil? Of what?
Rather than good and evil, opposites, is there a system where there isn't dualism?
A broader relational image would be the way that you would do it, like the Trinity, for instance. When you're working with interrelated relationships that are interdependent on each other, then that is a way to step outside the dualism and say there's always a third, fourth, maybe fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth option, and that all of us are involved in that conversation and that voice, so that as many of us as there are that many options. So yes, it goes far beyond dualism.
Judaism rejected dualism immediately. They couldn't survive with this. That's again the one God that what you have in this world is good and less good, coming from the same God. And so there's a rejection of the Greek and the dualism. By the way, what about writing that book? I'm serious.
Writing.
Continuing developing this important question that you ask.
Right, who wants to do that?
By the way, at the end, all of us are scrolls. We are one long scroll. The question is, what's written on that scroll? And who is writing what? So I would challenge you to continue thinking about this and coming with some kind of a document. Yeah, why do we have to stop trying to figure out evil? Are you kidding? This is a constant question. And every generation has some kind of an answer. By the way, we are only at Rabbinic Judaism. Please continue.
The teachers of the rabbinic period, roughly from 100 BCE to about 1000 CE.
Okay. You see, we're talking about what? Few years. No, it's not few years. All of this has developed through many, many years of thinking, of talking, of learning, of teaching. So this is the period, BCE to 1000 CE. That's rabbinic period. This is the age that created the Talmud, the Mishnah, the Midrashim. A lot of Jewish text was created during this period. Again, this is post-biblical. So now you know what is the role of a teacher in Judaism. It's slicing this piece of cake. The cake is layers. On the top is the chocolate, okay? So think good about this. I always started from the chocolate. I will push the piece of cake and start eating it from the chocolate. Why do I have to go to the bottom? The bottom is never good. But this is, I want to put the cake image in your head in order to understand what we need to do in answering questions such as evil. What's evil in Judaism? Well, I have to ask you what period of time. Because Judaism is always evolving, never stagnated. And by the way, you have two rabbis, you have three opinions. Get used to this. I mean, this is, in a way, I'm telling you what will happen when more integration can happen with the Jewish temple. You'll be shocked. They have three clergy now, two rabbis and a cantor. You're going to ask questions of those people? Get ready to receive different answers. Sorry.
True here.
What?
It's true here.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
if you ask me a question versus if you ask Eric a question versus if you ask Will a question, or any of our program ministers, they're going to have different answers.
Absolutely. And so I know you guys want to get the right, the one answer.
Yes.
Guess what? Find a different church. How can people expect just one answer? To what? it's amazing how many answers can be found. You need, of course, to justify the answer you're giving. Yes.
I think part of the problem you're asking as well with that is that when I mentioned the subject and the object, if we are the subject, each one of us in this room are always having a separate vision than one another. If none else, then each one of us looks at either the rabbi or the pastor. We have to turn our heads and see them in a different position. So we're constantly always bringing our own perspective from our own place. So we're always struggling with space and time. We all are in a different space. We all, for now, for a moment or two, or for an hour and a half, we are in the same time. But we're not often there, folks. But we're always in our own space and our own time. And that keeps us always separated. And since we are always separated, we always have a different perspective, we will continue to have this. But that doesn't mean we can't find harmony instead of strife. But then we have to find common beliefs, not common facts. The facts are what we've already taken in. It's the beliefs that we got to get in common. And we don't have them.
Yet. We don't have it yet. I'm a lot more optimistic. I think the more we integrate the faith, the more we'll discover how similar we are. And then what are we doing? It's interesting. What will happen when we discover that we're very similar? Oh my God. Good! It's okay. Yes.
I did an experiment with 50 women one time. I had them place themselves on a continuum of pro-life on one end and pro-choice on the other. Quite divisive. And then they were supposed to put themselves on how extreme they were. Folded it in half and brought the two that were most extreme together and paired them up that way. And then they were supposed to decide who was to go first. And they were to share with the other one how they came to their understanding. And that the person who was listening was not supposed to be planning a rebuttal, but they were to be listening so that they could say back to them what they were, how they came to that idea. And after that was done, then they reversed and did it the other way. And what I had was a group of 50 women who were cheerful and saying, I can't believe